Lights up on a bare stage, with the exception of a large projected screen on the back wall. Slowly, a figure comes walking out onto the stage. It is a boy, aged around 12 or 13. This is Paul. Paul has a serious, almost stoic look on his face as he comes to the center of the stage and stops, gazing at the audience. Slowly, a podium with a glass of water and a remote wheels out and settles in front of Paul. He nods, takes a sip of water from the glass, then puts it down, picks up the remote, and slowly speaks.
This is my friend Rodney.
He clicks on the remote, and a slide projector sound plays. Onto the back wall screen comes a picture of, whom we can assume, is Rodney. He looks slightly older than Paul and has a fun-loving grin on his face in the picture. Paul looks silently at the picture for a moment, then back to the audience.
He sure looks like a swell guy, doesn't he? Well, from the moment I met him a couple of years back, when he and his family moved into my town, he absolutely was. Truth be told, he was probably one of the best friends I ever had. Someone who always looked out for me. Someone who always had my back, no matter what. He was like the brother I never had. Before I met Rodney, I used to get bullied a lot in school. But once Rodney came into the scene, he helped me in more ways than I could possibly imagine.
The podium Paul is standing at moves back a bit, and Paul steps forward. He slowly untucks his shirt, misses his hair up a bit, then dabs some bruise makeup under his left eye. He walks with a slight limp and has a pained expression on his face as Rodney strides onto the stage, acting like he's 10 feet tall, with a life of the party personality. He spots Paul, grins, and strides up to him.
Hey, Calloway.
Rodney playfully punches Paul on the shoulder. Paul winces and rubs his shoulder at the punch.
What's going on, friendo?
Oof. Hey, Rodney, not too much.
Paul, what happened, dude? Jeez, you've got a hunker of a black eye. And you're limping, too. Who did it? Who hit you?
Don't worry about it.
You're my friend, Paul. I'm not gonna let some bully just punk you out like that and get away with it. Who did it? Just tell me his name or point him out.
It was Barry Glick.
You mean that big ape that's been picking on you for months and months? Hey, that's him over there now, isn't it?
It is. Rodney, don't worry. Just let it go. He'll wail on you too if you mouth off to him.
Oh yeah? Let's just see about that.
Rodney snaps his fingers, then smirks and makes his way off.
Rodney, wait. Oh, this is not gonna end well.
Paul timidly watches in silent horror and anticipation. Suddenly, we hear Rodney's voice off stage.
Hey, Barry. Yeah, you. Big baboon. I'm talking to you. You see my friend over there? You better leave him alone. Because if you don't, you're going to get your teeth knocked out.
Oh, I can't watch.
Silence. Then we hear the sounds of two punches being thrown. Paul winces at each punch.
So, you going to leave him alone? That's better. Good talk, Barry.
Slowly, Rodney walks back on stage, looking casual and nonchalant. He doesn't have a scratch on him. Paul looks at him in amazement.
What?
Barry extends his most sincere apologies for what he's done to you. Paul, old buddy. He won't be bothering you anymore, though.
Rodney,
Hey.
Rodney playfully punches Paul on the shoulder again.
You're good to me. I'm good to you. That's what friends are for, huh? Come on, buy me a soda as a thanks.
Rodney struts off as the podium goes back to its original position. Paul walks up to him, sips his water again, then clicks on the remote again. A slide changing noise is heard, and a second picture of Rodney pops up, another one where he's all smiles.
This is my friend Rodney. Now, believe me when I tell you, Rodney really knew how to charm people, especially girls. In fact, I feel like, in a way, some of his charm rubbed off on me. Before I met him, I was a shy, quiet kid who never so much as hugged a girl. But when Rodney became my friend, he helped give me the confidence I needed to talk to girls, helped see the good points in me. You see, I never thought of myself in the most positive of light. But Rodney, man, I just don't know. Rodney had this innate way of helping me to see how much I was worth, how great I was. It really helped my confidence in the long run. As a matter of fact, it was thanks to Rodney that I got my very first kiss one night not too long ago.
The podium backs away again, and Paul ducks off stage briefly to change his clothes. He ducks back on and sits on a nearby chair as Rodney breezes in, looking very dapper. He slides over to Paul and stands before him.
Calloway, my man! Drop any plans you got tonight. We're going on a double date.
Wait, what? A double date?
That's right. This girl, Anita, that I know, and I was going to go on a date to the movies with her. But her friend Bianca was feeling awfully lonesome. So I suggested, innocently, that you'd be the perfect fit for her. A nice double date.
Anita Sanchez? Bianca Monroe?
That's their names.
Rodney. Those are two of the prettiest, most popular girls in school. They don't go out with just any guys.
No, they don't. Because tonight, they're with us. Oh, look, they're right over there. Oh, girls.
Slowly, two girls step out onto the stage, giggling and flirtily waving to Rodney and Paul. Rodney grins and waves back to them.
My good buddy Paul will be ready in just a minute, girls. Right, Paul?
Rodney, I can't. I just can't.
Oh, come on, man. Don't get all shook up. Bianca is crazy about you. I hyped you up, and she's dying to be your date.
Paul gives Rodney an incredulous look. Slowly, he looks over at Bianca, who smiles and waves at him, then blows him a kiss and giggles. Paul is shocked, awed. He turns back to Rodney.
She just blew me a kiss.
See? Dude, you're so in. Come on. Race home, get dressed in your nicest clothes, then meet us back here.
Rodney, I don't know about this, dude. I'm such a geek compared to you. What if I blow it? Say something dorky. I don't want to blow your chance with Anita if I mess something up with Bianca. Just no. Tell them I'm not feeling good or something. Maybe one of the other guys will double date with you three.
Calloway, stop talking like that. Hey, look at me, buddy. I don't like hearing you talk like that. You are not a geek. Dude, you're funny, you're smart, you're cool. You're everything I could ask for in a friend. You gotta be confident, brother. The more you put yourself down, the heavier the weight is gonna be on you. You gotta stand up and feel the positive feelings. You're not a geek, a dork, a loser, any of that. You're Paul Calloway, and you are awesome.
I am pretty awesome, aren't I?
That's what I like to hear. So what do you say? Need, what, 15 minutes to get ready?
A beat. Paul glances over at Bianca, who smiles, giggles, then beckons him to her with a finger in a flirty way. Paul grins and looks to Rodney.
I'll be ready in 5 minutes.
Paul goes off.
Attaboy, kid. You hear that, Bianca? lover boy over there will be ready in 5. And trust me when I tell you, this will be the best double date ever.
Rodney and the two girls laugh and head off stage. The podium comes back forward as Paul walks back up and to the podium. He grabs the remote on it and looks to the audience.
Yep, me and Rodney and the girls went to the movie that night. For those of you who are wondering, what movie did we see? Honestly, I don't remember. We didn't quite pay attention to the movie. Several times, to be exact.
A beat. Slowly, Paul clicks on the remote and the slide change sound is heard a third time. In this picture, Rodney's friendly, beaming, smiling demeanor has been replaced by a scowl. He looks worse for the wear, almost like he's been through the ringer.
This is my friend, Rodney. You know, I wish I could talk about more happy memories with Rodney and I, but as time went on, unfortunately, things started to change. Rodney wasn't as fun, loving, and kind as he was when we first met. In fact, sometimes he could just be downright cruel. Our friendship seemed to morph into something of a one-sided convenience. Rodney seemed to sometimes only bother with me when he needed something.
Paul steps forward and pulls out his cell phone, holding it up to his ear as if he's in conversation with someone.
Hello? Rodney? Is that you? Dude, where are you? At the juvie center? What did you do this time? You tried to steal a car? Dude, have you lost your mind? No, I don't have any money to bail you out. I don't even think I could do something like that. Dude, I don't know what to tell you. Just call your parents or something. I don't want to be dragged into the hell. He hung up.
Paul puts away his cell phone. Slowly, Rodney skulks onto the stage, no longer looking dapper and clean cut, but more disheveled and dirty. He stands off to the side in the shadows as Paul speaks.
Things just got worse and worse. Rodney got into some kind of a gang, and they did all sorts of horrible things. They stole, they beat people up, they drank. It was a whole mess. I tried to get him out of it, tried to stop him from this bad crowd, but all he'd do is call me a stick in the mud and not a true friend. As time went on, we hung out less and less. It got to the point where sometimes I was sure he forgot I existed, except for when he needed me for some crazy plan.
Paul. Hey, Paul.
Huh? Hey, Rodney. Geez, you look terrible. What's going on, man?
Meh, don't worry about it. Hey, so, listen. Could you do me a favor, buddy, old pal?
A favor,
Yeah. See, me and some of the guys tomorrow night, we're going to Einhardt's electronics shop after it closes. There's a couple of GameSphere consoles we wanted to pick up, and we need someone to be a lookout. You know, in case anyone tries to do anything funny.
A lookout?
Yeah. We'll cut you in on some things in return. We'll give you one of the game spheres and $100 too. What do you say, pal?
Rodney, you're kidding me, right?
Huh?
I'm not stupid, you know? You and those loser friends of yours plan on robbing Einhardt's electronics, don't you? Well, count me out of it.
Hey, my friends aren't losers, and we're not trying to rob anything. We're just helping them out with some extra merchandise that might fall off a truck, you know?
Oh, that's bullcrap and you know it. You're gonna rob them and you want me to be the lookout. Or rather, the patsy you can all point the finger at. Nothing doing, Rodney. I am not going down the road you're going down.
Some friend you are, Calloway.
You're lucky I don't tip the cops off to what's been going on. I could if I wanted to.
Rodney frowns and shoves Paul roughly in the chest, causing Paul to stumble back a bit.
You tell the cops and I'll slit your throat. Snitch.
What's your problem? Why are you acting like this? Huh? What's gotten into you? Threatening to kill me?
I don't have a damn problem. Except for you.
Me?
You've abandoned me, Calloway. You won't do one or two simple little things for me. What happened to you? Don't you remember? You take care of me, I'll take care of you. Well, you sure as hell aren't keeping up your end of the bargain.
Abandoned you? How have I abandoned you? If anything, you abandoned me.
I've done plenty for you, loser. I saved you constantly from bullies. I got you your first kiss with a girl. Everything. Trust me, you'd be nothing without me. And what do I get in return? For all the crap I've done for you. When I ask you to do me a few favors, jack squat.
All you asked me to do is bail you out of juvie and be a lookout or partner when those losers you hang out with do crimes. I'm sorry if you feel betrayed, but I am not about to sit here and take this crap from you. Friendship is a two-way street, Rodney. You don't just ask someone to do illegal things like this. It's insanity. So back the hell off me. I don't want to go down a dark path. I want to go to college, make something of my life, not become part of some gang and do crimes, and possibly end up going to juvie. Or worse.
A long silence. Rodney frowns and steps towards Paul, who puts up his fist slowly.
I don't want to have to. But I'll fight you if I need to. You'll probably kick my butt, but I'm not going to let you put your hands on me, dude. So, you want to go? We'll go.
Rodney is silent as he glares at Paul. Slowly, he shakes his head no, then backs off a step.
Nah, I'm not gonna fight you. You're not even worth the time. Besides, you're right. I would kick your butt, you sissy.
Rodney spits at Paul's shoes. Paul backs off a step in disgust as Rodney begins to walk away.
This friendship is over. Get bent, Calloway.
Fine. Be that way. Truth be told, you've not acted like a friend to me at all these last few months. So we might as well not be friends.
Rodney doesn't answer. He simply goes off as the podium goes back to its original position. Paul steps over to it and grabs the clicker, going through a series of slide shots of Rodney in increasing disheveled looks and scowls. As he does this, we hear police sirens briefly and go to a juvenile mugshot of Rodney, then a second, then a third. The sirens grow louder, then pass, until finally, we cut to one last slide shot. It is Rodney in a suit, but his eyes are closed, and it is a close-up shot of him.
That was my friend Rodney.
The lights fade on Paul briefly, who does a quick change. Slowly, when the lights fade back on him, Paul is now in his suit and tie, looking mournful. He sighs and speaks to the audience.
The next night, the night when Rodney and those other kids went to that electronics store, the plan they had in mind went wrong. I don't know the exact details, but the one result I know is this. Rodney, he got into some kind of argument with those so-called friends of his when things went south. And one of them stabbed him twice.
The picture slowly zooms out to show that it is a funeral home, and Rodney is in a coffin. Some low lighting is now present on stage, as well as soft funeral home music playing. The podium moves off stage, and the projection screen slowly turns off as Paul stands as if on a line of mourners.
Part of me wanted to feel like it served Rodney right for getting involved in this kind of mess, but no. That night at the funeral home, I just felt so empty, so sad, so hopeless. Rodney and I may have ended on bad terms, but he was still my friend and had been an important part of my life, even if only for a little while.
A beat. Paul moves across the stage. Then finally, he goes up to the coffin. He gazes at Rodney and shakes his head with a sad sigh.
Rodney, what did you get yourself into? At least he looks good in there, considering the circumstances.
Paul does the sign of the cross, then slowly walks away from the middle of the stage. But he stops as someone approaches him.
Oh, Rodney's parents. Mr. Peters? Mrs. Peters. Hi. I just wanted to say how very sorry I am that we're seeing each other under these circumstances. So very sorry for your loss. Oh gosh, wow, that's a good thought to have. Well, thank you for telling me that. Yes, I'm all right. I'll be all right. I just need a minute. Sir? Ma'am. Thank you.
Paul steps to center stage and addresses the audience.
Mr. Peters, he told me that night, you know, Rodney always said nothing but great things about you, Paul. He always smiled when he talked about how great a friend you were. Thank you for being so good to him, Paul.
Paul gets emotional again, wiping tears and composing himself as he does.
I just wished I could have done more to help him. I wish you'd asked me for help if he needed it. Could I have prevented him from dying if I asserted myself more? Would he have let me? God, I just don't know. So many questions. So many unresolved questions.
Paul slowly walks center stage again as the screen on the wall slowly turns back on, and we see one last picture. It is Paul and Rodney, arms around each other, both with big smiles on their faces. Paul gazes at the picture, and he can't help but smile.
My friend Rodney. As sad as the ending was, at least there were still good times. You were a good guy, Rodney. You may have had faults later on, but I'll never ignore or forget what you did for me in the grand scheme of my life. Thanks, buddy.
With that, Paul slowly exits the stage as we stay with the picture of Paul and Rodney, then slowly fade to black.